If you are a musician that has been wanting to use tracks or maybe use tracks and don't have the best system, I am telling you, look no further. We are going to be reviewing the Idoru P-1 backing track player. So this has been probably the best addition into my gig bag, and I will say, unlike my other tech review, this you can buy right now. So let's get into it. So for me personally, I am a Salt Lake City based musician, and I really wanted to kind of elevate my live performance, and I felt like tracks would be the great next step. So I wanted to find something that was cheaper than a laptop, very discreet, easy to pack down, and simple to use. And that was when I heard of the Idoru backing track player. So let's go over the user interface. Upon first glance, you might have noticed that these buttons and these pedals are the same, and I feel like they really took into account the different musicians that might be using this. So if you're a guitarist, for example, you can have this on the floor and very easily maneuver through your set. You're also able to have it on a table, which I do personally, and I'm able to very easily go through here. Sometimes if I feel like it, I go through the pedals, whatever floats your boat. You have this button here that sends you back to the beginning. You also have some additional settings such as adjusting the screen contrast, brightness, metronome flash, so you can set up the BPM for each song and have the screen flash with the beat of the song, MIDI through, and MIDI clock. With this button here, you can also adjust the levels, so you can either adjust the overall set of each track. You can also go through the levels of the headphone or each individual output. So even though most of the work is done in the Idoru app on my laptop, you are able to, once you get to the location, make some adjustments because sound changes depending on the room, and I do really like that flexibility, so you don't have to bring your laptop to your gig. So if you check out the back of the unit, you can see that we have 6 audio outs. We have a headphone jack, auxiliary, MIDI, USB. This is where we plug it in. You also have MIDI, and this is the SD slot where we're able to store our music. So what is included in the box is the unit, the cable, and a micro SD card, but something that's not included that maybe you can get is these cables. I sometimes will use a small mixer, depending on the gig. Sometimes I don't really have a big sound check, or maybe there's a lot of bands and I want to simplify my setup. So I will bring my own mixer and try and simplify it that way. But the big one that I think everyone should get if you're going to get this unit is the male-to-male XLR 2/4 inch. Just to eliminate the need for like 6 DI boxes. It just can get a little bit crazy. Maybe they don't have that many DI boxes, but that's the number one note that I got from sound engineers when asking them what they thought of it, anything that they thought would make it a little bit easier. They said it wasn't a big deal, but I'm all for trying to simplify the job of the sound engineer. So that is something that I would definitely recommend. Now let's move over to the tracks. Okay, so now we're in Logic, and from here I have dragged and dropped my tracks from my recording, which the song is out if you want to listen to it or whatever, I don't know. But what does not come with it is the clicking guide. So that's what I needed to personally make. I did find clicking guide on Google. I just looked up like free clicking guide. And so
for what?
I recorded that.
Verse 2, 3,
and
4.
then I add those commands.
Chorus 2, 3, 4.
So makes it very easy so that the band
Verse 2, 3, 4.
is all,
Chorus 2, 3.
they're all together. Everybody knows what's coming. If you miss it, you might need to hire somebody else because like it does not get any easier than this. Then we have the click. So that I set up, and it was very easy. I just you just drag and drop, and once that's all set up, this is where you need to invest a little bit of time. I surely have. It's been a little bit frustrating, but it's fine. It's fine. So I've done this for all of my songs. I set up the click and guide. It's very easy. It's just very time consuming. And from here, I do transfer to this other track, which is where I have all of my songs. So I'm going to go over there. This is when you need to start thinking through, how am I going to separate this? So depending on the song and knowing that you have 6 audio outputs, you're going to have to change up some things. So basically I have it for every single instrument. but sometimes you don't need all of the instruments. But I prepare it that way because sometimes I don't have a bassist. Sometimes I don't have a keyboardist. So everything is separated by vocals, bass, keys, alternative sounds. Might be some weird stuff in here. And stuff like that. Oftentimes what I do have to do is combine the click and guide together, and that will usually be my only stereo track that I have in Idoru. So what I ended up doing, especially given that all these songs are from different projects and the levels of the tracks were a little bit crazy, so I had to really work hard to make sure they were level. So I went through each track, made sure that everything was as close to the same level, and then I always check it on the headphones and even on the speaker. And that's the tough thing with, like, depending on the space, like sometimes the levels and the sound sound great, sometimes in certain spaces they sound terrible. So I really do try my best to make sure they're at a moderate level where I do have enough space to go up and down. This is really where a lot of the care comes in. I cannot emphasize this enough. But once this is all done, that's when I export every single track. And this is when we start making some magic. Let's go to Idoru. So I've already set it up, but basically when you start from scratch, what you're gonna do is create set list. Let's say you're doing a wedding. We're gonna do pre-drink cocktails. What happens at a wedding? Reception? I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, then we will create our song. We're gonna do Kiss from a Rose. Sure, okay. Okay, and you're gonna basically upload your tracks and then assign them, but I wanna show you on one that I've already done. Now that I have this here, I will say it is very important to keep things streamlined. For example, I always have my background vocals as track 1, piano track 2, synths track 3. It makes it so that if during the set you need to adjust the levels when you're there without your laptop, you're able to do that overall instead of getting all crazy with it. So that is very important. And you upload the WAV file, add the name, which you can only do 2 letters. So I have BG for backgrounds. And then I'm assigning it to audio 1. 2 doesn't have one. Oh, we're not gonna assign that. Sorry, I had a brain fart. But 3 synths, 4 pads. You can do some stereo action, but that's not something that I personally use. I like to have everything separated, but that is an option. Now that we have everything all set up, let's send it to the Idoru. I'm going to take out the SD card, plug this in, and then I'm going to send the session. All right, so now everything is in the little SD card. I'm going to plug that in. Let's see. Wait, no, right here. Now I've loaded my list, and what do you know? Everything's in there. Okay, perfect. So now that we have this all set up, let me plug it into the speaker, and then you can kind of hear what's going on. Let's play this. Ooh.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
Okay, there you go.
Chorus 2, 3, 4.
So now I can just pause it very easily, and let's say, uh-oh, I just messed up. I need to start this song over. Bam. Hold it. Better.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
Once you get to the set, it's just very easy. You just kind of flip through, play your songs.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
And I will usually just go through my whole set and just check that the levels are pretty moderate. So hearing everything through the speaker, you're probably like, wait, there's a clicking guide. Won't the audience hear that? And that's where it's going to really come to your sound engineer. I use in-ears personally, but you don't have to use a clicking guide like I said, but once you give it to the sound engineer, that's where, I assign the clicking guide to channel 6. So they will take that, send that to my ears, and then they will kind of set up the levels for all of the other tracks. So that's pretty much what's to it, I think. So I realized one thing you actually can do is assign the clicking guide and any tracks that your drummer might want to the headphone out so that they can at least get the click and make sure that they're on top of it, especially since in-ears are pretty expensive for an entire band, and then everybody else would just listen to, what's coming out of the house. So there's another option if you don't want to spend that extra money. I don't really use a lot of the MIDI functions in it, just because I don't really have a use for it, but I am just really happy to share this with you guys. If you are interested in them, head to their website, go support them. They are a small indie brand. Their support team is very incredible, and I am just so happy to support independent brands like this that really listen to the musicians and want to give the musicians what they want. And I'm about giving the musicians what they want. So I hope you enjoyed this and have a wonderful day wherever you are. Bye.